What's up, man? How you enjoy your East Coast trip? Yeah, how was the lobster though? Come on now.
Oh, don't even get me started. That was like the worst part of the trip. We spent like
Really?
$38 on like a small little lobster sandwich in Boston.
Oh, the
38
lobster rolls.
American dollars.
Oh
The
my,
lobster
my
rolls.
heart,
Yes.
Yeah. Did you get
my
it warm or
heart.
cold?
I got it warm and it was cold. So I spent
Oh,
$7 more and they still gave me the cold one. I'm like, what the fuck, man? And it wasn't even
Yeah.
that good. I'm not a big lobster guy anyway. I just went because they wanted to go. But I expected big things, obviously, because lobster's the big thing right now. It's
Yeah.
so fucking expensive. So you expect it's going to be like greater than Kobe beef, but you try it, it's just shitty tasting fish. It's not
was it
that
better in
good.
Halifax at least?
Ah, Halifax, don't even get me started. Oh my God. I went to that lighthouse that's there. What's it called again?
Yeah,
It's the
sure.
first lighthouse in North America from the
Yeah,
1800s.
yeah.
Yeah, and it was raining like crazy. It took an hour to get there, hour back, obviously. When we got there, it was raining like crazy. So we went up on the rocks, and there's like three signs up there saying, come here at your own discretion. There's people that have died here before, and if you fall in the water, we're not going to come and get you. So that was a great start to it.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Hoops Corner. I'm your host, Peter Tran, on the line, out of the doghouse, just living his best life from the East Coast, I think. Josh Cohen, how you doing?
Feeling fine. I don't understand how the season's here already. This doesn't make any sense. The summer's over. It's getting cold outside again. Raj is wearing a hoodie inside. So,
Me too.
yeah, I probably should be too. It's pretty cold in here.
Yeah, man. Crank down that heat. The bang of the paint, our residential medical expert back from his summer vacations, summer off seasons. This guy's just touring all over the world. Rajan Walia, how you feeling?
You know what? I had a good off season. You dummies have been playing summer league, preseason, and as a season vet, I just come in and straight into the starting lineup.
Yeah, some of us got to grind out here, Raj. I'm sorry. We're not as privileged as the Carmelo Anthony of the podcast, you know?
Indeed.
Hey, I'm still in this league, all right? Don't discount me.
Damn. Okay, how about Carmelo Anthony like 4 years ago? Before he was, annexed from the league.
Yeah, I want Carmelo Anthony from like 14 years ago. That's what I'll take.
Then you wouldn't be a banger, though.
Nah,
Whoa,
I'd be
whoa.
Nuggets Anthony was a player, man.
Prime Melo, 14 years ago, was in the Western Conference Finals? Ooh.
See, I always thought of Raj, like when you said banger, I always thought of like a guy who like just got in there, got gritty, grind it out, get some rebounds, push some people around. That's not Carmelo Anthony. He was more of a skill game. Obviously, he's going to push some people around in the paint too, but he was more of a skill player.
You know,
All right, you throwing shade, eh?
Raj would be like Rasheed Wallace if he could, rebound.
Without the shot.
Or
I was
shoot.
thinking more like Lonnie Baxter.
I was thinking more like Zach Randolph.
Oh wow, you think highly of yourself, huh?
This guy's a walking double machine? How did we not know this?
When I play with you fools,
like-
I don't know. We're talking triple-double.
One end of the spectrum to the other. We have Lonnie Baxter, Rasheed Wallace, and Zach Randolph. Okay, this guy's either a superstar or a scrub. I'm not sure which one.
I mean, I think we think highly of Raj. Josh, you just don't think highly of him enough. I'm afraid to ask. who you think
like
I am.
everything, I'm sure the truth is somewhere in the middle, right?
Joey Graham.
Joey Graham.
Oh man, that's
Yeah, don't
Steven Graham.
at least give me Charlie Villanueva, please.
Oh, Charlie Villanueva was a problem back in the day.
How about we just meet in the middle? Call him PJ Brown. PJ Brown was a nice player.
Ooh, I was going to say
Oh,
how
wow.
And he's a
about
banger.
Joe, but yeah, PJ Brown works. Okay.
I feel so privileged. You guys have been. This is what you guys has been spending for the last like 6 weeks trying to find my player comparison.
Yeah, it's true. Nothing's happened in the NBA. I mean, James Harden's still on the 76ers and not going to practice. Damian Lillard's kind of moved to, finally having a contender of a team around him with an MVP candidate. No big deal. The Phoenix Suns just got Bradley Beal to go with Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. Whatever. Austin Reeves is apparently the third best player on a real contender. Third best player, Josh? Second best player, maybe?
Maybe the second best
Maybe
player.
the second.
Ooh, my apologies. I can tell you one thing that hasn't changed. The Toronto Raptors are still the Toronto Raptors, baby. Just sitting there, just stagnant. Anyways, all that said, Raj, I know you were touring all around the world, but what have you seen in this offseason, in this preseason? If I know you're just grinding out tapes in your off time. What have you seen amongst all these teams, amongst these players? Like, give me something nice. Give me someone that you're actively looking forward to seeing.
Are we talking about contenders or teams that are just taking it up a notch?
You can talk about Markelle Fultz running the point in Orlando for all I care. You can talk about whatever you want, man. We're here. This is an open book. This is a safe space. It's all good.
All right. I'm going to say this because everyone's going to end up talking about them. I think the Phoenix Suns, considering what they started off doing and all the question marks about how they're going to build their roster around their big three with Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, and Bradley Beal, I think they've actually done a decent job at least finding players that can fill in for them, getting scoring off the bench, getting a few other bodies. Because we were looking at they're going to have 6 players max, 7 players that play even in the regular season. And I think they did a good job of rounding off their roster. And of course, moving on from Ayton has been a big step in the right direction. So again, I would have to give James Jones some credit there. What he's doing with the roster is, again, a step in the right direction. Of course, picking up Grayson Allen off of the Bucks. Again, Nurkic is going to be their center. Of course, they have Eric Gordon and Watanabe. They have some players there. And again, still going to be question marks, but they're not as bad a predicament that we thought they were going to be in. And then another team, I don't know how you pick this off, but I actually think the Orlando Magic are going to be a team that will be contending for a play-in spot this year. Seriously pushing.
I mean, to be honest, in the East, it doesn't actually mean much, right? Because you can sort of eliminate the Pistons and the Wizards, right off the bat. And the Hornets. That's 3 teams. So,
yeah, but let me just say
this.
The
Magic have to compete for a play-in spot.
They will be a top 8 team.
See, now we're talking.
Yeah, I was expecting more of a hot take there.
Yeah.
Now you're starting to get into it. Soon enough, you're going to say top 6 and then maybe top 4. So this is good.
I'll give
trending
them
in the right direction.
I will say they will be the 7th seed when the season ends. I'm not saying they're going to make the playoffs necessarily. Depends on injuries, but they will be a 7th seed just because.
Ooh, I like that.
I don't want to jinx it, but they do have a bunch of young players. They got a lot of playing time under their belt. Of course, Fultz is coming back. Franz Wagner, I think, is going to take a step in the right direction this year. Again, I think overall, they have to sort out where Jalen Suggs fits into their long-term picture. They have to figure out about Jonathan Isaac. Is he ever actually going to play another game? But once they figure that out, I think they'll actually be a playoff team.
Yeah, just quickly on the Suns. I don't think they're going to be a very good regular season team. I think that their top 3 guys get injured way too often, and letting go of Ayton, trading him for Nurkic and Grayson Allen, I just wasn't a fan of that move. I know they had to get rid of him, but he got 50 cents on the dollar maybe, and he's a good regular season player too. He puts up stats. He's a minutes filler, and he plays 70 games a year. And Nurkic has played 40 games a year in the last couple of years. And their big 3 average out at probably 50 games a year, 55 games a year in the last few years. So if and when they have 2 or 3 injuries to their main guys, you have a bunch of minimum contract guys behind them. And Eric Gordon can fill in a little bit, obviously. But I don't think they're going to be as good record-wise as a lot of people seem to think. I think they're going to be in the Clippers territory where they're just going to be fighting for a play-in spot. I think they're going to be in the play-in this year. So
hold on.
I don't know. I don't see it.
In the West, you sort of want to knock off. Wait, you said the Phoenix is going to be close to the play-in? Is that what you're saying?
Wow, I am saying that.
So we're going to have Denver and LA as the top 2 seeds, presumably, right? Sacramento? Golden State?
I think all those teams. I think all those teams really fit. There's going to be Denver, especially with their home court advantage, probably going to be the 1 or 2 seed. And then there's just the rest of the middle. And I think then after, you're talking about the Lakers, you're talking about teams like the Sacramento Kings, the Golden State Warriors. Like, they're kind of probably going to be somewhere between the 2 and 6, and then there's another drop after that. I think Josh is saying that the Suns are going to be in that third category of teams.
That's a very hot take. And that's just wild. I don't know. I think for that to happen, you need to have injuries for all three guys like sync up at the same time. You know what I mean?
No.
Yeah.
Even if one guy is out, if you look at their lineup, like who's going to replace Bradley Beal? Who's going to replace Devin? Especially if Devin Booker gets injured, they are not in a good spot.
If Booker gets injured, yes. But if
KD gets injured, they are completely screwed. And that's going to happen eventually.
Have you ever seen Utah Watanabe play basketball?
Utah Watanabe needs Kevin Durant because if you saw his numbers last year, he was around 50% from the 3-point line, especially from the corners.
Yeah.
When KD was on his team, and then once he left, he just completely leveled off.
Have you seen Chimezie Metu play basketball? Better?
Most people have not.
No, not even Sacramento Kings fans have seen Metu play. I mean, I understand. Like, the idea that all three of them will be healthy for the whole season is like ludicrous. You're not expecting that. I don't think Frank Vogel is going to expect that out of his team. They're going to end up resting a lot of their stars or like playing, limited minutes, right? Especially KD. KD's like 34, 35. He's got KD amongst like the other three, or the other two is definitely the oldest one. But to say that the Suns are a tier below the Lakers that's a little much, man. I'd go, in terms of like standings or, ranking the top three, I'd go Nuggets, Lakers, Suns. But Lakers and Suns, I think, are still interchangeable. I really like their bench. Like, it's a bunch of random minimum guys, but all these guys sort of play their role really well.
Yeah, but that's, again, assuming that the stars are available, right? My biggest thing is, like, this team is built for the playoffs. Mm-hmm. You got those three guys in a playoff series, sure. And then maybe Nurkic's health. Even if he's not, they have Drew Eubanks, who I think is pretty decent. They might be better than him at this point anyway. So you got those three guys in a series, come playoff time, and they're actually healthy. Great. They got to make the playoffs first. But I think we're underplaying how you're supposed to team build in today's day and age. And, if the Lakers have an injury to LeBron or AD, like we saw last year, they both played 55 games, I think. And, they barely made the play-in. I think the same situation is going to happen with this. And the Lakers improved their depth this year. So I think if that happens, they'll be in a better position to still be in the top 6. Whereas if the Suns have injuries, which are going to, I think they're going to have a much harder time winning these games, especially on the road.
Yeah, like, again, I don't think the Suns are the most deep team, but I think they did round out the roster. I'm not sure about salary space that they have left once they dumped Ayton. Again, I do see them improving the roster at the deadline, picking up a few players on like vet mids or mid-level exceptions if they still have one again.
Don't.
Okay.
They got nothing, man.
So maybe vet mins. That would be about it. But again, if you look at the West, every team has like a big question mark, minus the Nuggets, and even them, like in terms of just replacing the production that they got last year once they lost Bruce Brown. That's, I would say, not a big question mark, but still a question mark for them. But obviously, the Warriors are older team. The Suns have depth issues. The Lakers are older and injured often. Obviously, Sacramento is one of the up-and-coming teams, but I don't think they're going to be a top 2 or 3 seed. I think they, again, will be pushing for a 4 to 6. The Thunder, again, a great story last year. Exceeded expectations. I expect them to be pushing a lot more. The Mavericks have probably regressed a bit. The Trailblazers are awful. The Clippers have injury issues. Like, there's no really complete team other than the Nuggets that's like, okay, we know what we're going to get. And in Memphis, like, they don't have Ja for half the year or 30 games.
Can anyone here name like 5 role players? So like the 5 players who may close out a game for the Mavericks?
Okay.
I can't think of who I would rely on from that team other than obviously Luka and Kyrie.
Grant Williams will probably end up closing out games.
Fair.
Yeah. And you would say Josh Green, but then Jason Kidd doesn't seem to like him, even though he played really well last year in spurts. So he should be one of the guys.
But Josh Green is really small, though. He's like 6'4", 6'5", playing at the 3.
I think he's He's 6'5", I think, but he's quick
Ooh.
and he's a big guy for his size, I think. In
He's gonna be
terms
playing the
of
3 though, next to Luka and Kyrie. Ooh,
who else do they have though?
that's
I
what I'm
mean, they
saying.
can put Grant Williams on the bigger wings, obviously, but in terms of quicker players, like you
Yeah,
want Josh Green in there because they don't really have anybody else unless you want to put Dante Exum in the game, and he's a wild card right now. So,
And
um,
he's too small to play the 3.
yeah, exactly. So, I mean, you got Maxi Kleba probably closing out games for you because I mean, Dwight Powell, of course, because Dwight Powell is always going to close out games. Doesn't,
love
it
it.
doesn't matter who's in the lineup. Like Joel Embiid can get traded to that team, Dwight Powell's still going to play.
Love it. That's loyalty, man. It's like keeping Udonis Haslem around for so long. Loyalty to your guys.
I mean, for me though, the team that I'm looking at, I know we've talked about them before, is the OKC Thunder. I think that they're going to take a major leap this year. I like their depth in the regular season. I mean, even before the trade they just made to get Kevin Porter Jr., then waive him because they just had to get a couple guys off their team. They had some like
Genius.
real, yeah. I mean, they got a couple more picks, which they love, obviously, but they had like a real roster crunch. Like they had 18 guys, and you're like, these are actually 18 legit NBA players on the team. So which guy is going to cut? Like they had to choose between potentially Jeremiah Robinson Earl, who's actually like a decent player. He's still young and everything, and they obviously just traded him to Houston. But he was one of the guys potentially on the chopping block. And, they made a lot of changes in the offseason in terms of their bench. They got Micic in there. They got some young players still growing. And then you have Chet coming in. And Chet's looked unbelievable
Ooh.
in the
Ooh.
preseason.
Ooh.
And OKC plays a style that nobody else really plays. Like they have an identity. They're just going to run the ball down your throat. And SGA is going to do his thing. And I like the way that they play. They go hard. Like Raj will love this team because all they do is get to the rim. They just get to the rim and bang. That's all they do.
Yeah, that's my style. But yeah, like if you look at this team, I think you can name 7 players or 8 players that could be starters on most NBA teams. Like obviously you have a few bench guys that may be the 5th option on maybe some of the weaker NBA teams, but obviously you have Shea, you have Chet, you have both the Jalen Williams, you have Josh Giddey, and again, Lou Dort. Like those players are 5-6 guys right away that would probably start for most teams. And this is not what you'd expect to hear when you looked at OKC's roster 2 years ago.
It's true. And you haven't even mentioned like the lesser popular guys, right? Like Trey Mann is a very good bench player.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And he's probably not going to play.
Somehow, yes. You know what I mean?
Isaiah Joe's better than him, right? So Isaiah Joe's going to play over him.
Isaiah Joe's a better shooter, not a better ball handler. But whatever. That's not
No,
the
but
point
you don't need a ball handler when you
Yeah.
have, you got Giddey, you got Williams, you got SGA, now you have Micic. Like they just have a lot of guys that can handle the ball, and they just play off each other really well. So I think that they're going to make a major step up. They're going to be a top 4 seed this year, maybe top 3. So,
And they have Davis Bertans. What?
he's actually going to play for them too because they actually need shooting off the bench, and he's going to get a lot of open shots.
And they need a big, like just like a big body
A
on
body.
the side.
Yeah.
6'10" Davis Bertans getting buckets. I like it.
Also, if they're in contention, if they're like a top 4, top 5 seed come trade deadline, like this is the team for Robert Williams to go to.
Oh.
Like if he is on this team and you have
Ooh.
him and Chet together,
Ooh.
like their defense will go from here to here.
There were rumors that they were trying to get Damian Lillard in the offseason too. Like they were ready to go for it to make like a big leap this summer.
Yeah, but I think it's better that they didn't, just because then you're taking the ball out of Shea's hand, and he's much more of a threat on the ball than off the ball.
For sure. I totally agree. But my whole point is they were ready to make something big. Either that or they're just throwing themselves into the rumor mill just to see what happens.
Mhm.
But nonetheless, OKC was ready to do something instead of just like, remember 2 years ago when they would just sit Shea halfway through the year and make up a fake injury? Those days are long gone. Thank God. We can finally see the OKC Thunder at their fullest potential.
That'll be fun.
It will be fun. I mean, a lot funner than I was going to talk about the Raptors because, I just like to shit on them. But
Josh, break his heart. Just break it. Smash it into pieces.
I'm like kind of optimistic about this team. Not in the sense that they're going to do any real damage, but I kind of like what Coach Darko is doing, man. These guys are actually moving the ball in preseason. It's kind of weird. Not seeing as much ISO ball. Old veterans are actually taking accountability. Chris Boucher went on the Raptors show podcast with Will Liu and Alex Wong and just straight up said, like, yeah, you know, like, a lot of our veterans just messed up last year. Guys didn't want to give up their positions to the young guys, but we got to learn who we are. I kind of respect it. It's like a real wake-up call for a lot of these older guys. I mean, they're saying all the right stuff. Whether it comes into practice or not, who knows? But I'm low key optimistic about the Raptors.
I'm not. I think in today's NBA, yeah, sorry to break it to you, Peter. I think they won't do as bad as they did last year. I think they'll be roughly the same. But overall, I think the big question with the Raptors is they just don't have enough athletic guards. That's really the big void in their team. They obviously went with playing everyone 6'9" and above, and that didn't work out so well when your primary ball handler was barely 6 feet. And I think obviously like solidifying the center position this year has been big, and they have some good wing depth. They have players that can play the four. It's just like they need guards. And the good thing for them is if they are willing to move on from some of their players, they may be able to get a young guard to build with the rest of this young roster. And they may have to move on from one of their vets, but hey, like they have Pirtle, Siakam, Anunoby, Barnes that all can play in the front court. And who do they have in the back court? They have Malachi, Gary Trent Jr.,
Dennis
Schroeder.
Schroeder, man, come on. FIBA MVP.
No disrespect to him, but like he's not
disrespectful. I'm just saying, sounds disrespectful.
They just need a bit more athletic guards and guards that can shoot. That's probably the biggest thing. They need a 2. That's what they need.
Yeah, I think they needed a point guard more. I was really hoping that they'd be able to trade Pascal for Scoot before the draft started, and then we can build around Scoot and Scotty, but obviously that didn't happen, so we're still stuck in the same scenario where we have basically no shooting around, super athletic wings, which is what everyone wants, obviously. But we have nothing around them. We just have a lineup that does not make any sense. And, the ball movement might help a little bit, but they're not going to get as many steals and breakout opportunities at the same time, which is what fueled their team last year. So their defense better take a step up, or else they're just going to be in the same position, hoping to get in the play-in, I guess. So it's not a great situation to be in.
12 seed.
All you just needed was like a change of leadership. Fred's gone. Nurse is gone. You got guys with their heads on right. New focus, new energy in the team. No,
you need some.
I'm like half to myself.
Yeah, I can hear it in your voice. Your voice is cracking.
I want to be optimistic, man. It's a home team, I just hope they do well.
Just as a Raptors fan, they are not making the playoffs this year.
Oh,
damn!
No play-in.
Or the play-in. No.
Oof. They're 12 seed, right there.
Oof.
And then we give up our pick to the Spurs, so that's fun.
Ooh, the Spurs! Wow, what a fun experiment that's been to watch, eh? Wemby seems to be quite good, Josh. Quite good.
Yeah, I guess that's for another podcast, though, right?
The Wemby pod.
You want to just have a sole podcast dedicated to Wembanyama for his rookie of the year campaign?
Preseason, why not?
Man, we should just do it every week, like a Wemby check-in. See how he's doing every week.
We should.
Even when he's injured.
75 minutes.
Yeah. Even when he's hurt, when he's like sitting out a week due to mysterious illnesses from Pop, we'll still check in and see how he's doing.
Yeah, we can also see how Point Sohan's doing too.
It's gonna be weird, man. I'm not high on that decision at all. Just seems strange,
I sort of like it though. If you're gonna tank, you might as well try different stuff throughout the year and see what happens.
Yeah, they still have Trey Jones, don't they?
He's coming off the bench.
Okay, this is killing me right now, but are the Pelicans going to be a top 3 seed this year? Maybe Josh in his crystal ball when he was looking in last year Maybe he misread 2022, 2023, and it was actually 2023, 2024.
Well, that was nice of Raj. I mean, he just asked you a question, then he just like abruptly disappeared. Like, what the hell, man?
That's just what bangers do, I guess. I don't
Man,
know.
this guy lined us up, talking about the Pellies, talking about the Pelicans and how Zion's gonna do this year, and then just like pieced out on us.
Complete hit and run.
Whoa, sir. Actually, I saw a hit and run today. It was so wild. Like, dead serious.
Okay.
I was like in
Go
a
on.
bakery in Chinatown, and I just like looked outside. I was like paying, so there's like a direct line out the door, and I just see like this white painter's van, like turning, like like coming in front of another car, like just to like parallel, and all I heard was like without exaggeration, half the shop just looked outside. We saw this car. And then when you like hit something and you're like, oh shit, like did I actually just do that? The van just stood there for like 5-7 seconds and then just booked it.
Oh my goodness.
Rough.
Yeah, my previous coworker, who will not be named, when I used to work for the other company that I used to work for, he told me that one day he sort of did the same thing. He was with one of his friends, and they were by a shopping mall, and he sideswiped a car. And instead of, like, he hit them pretty hard too.
Yeah.
And instead of stopping, he just completely booked it. And I'm like, wow, you're a scumbag.
Yeah.
I don't like you already, but now I hate you even more. So
Before you were just annoying, but now you're a real piece of shit.
yeah, now you just confirmed everything I thought about you. So I can't wait till I don't have to work with you again. And luckily, it wasn't that long afterwards that he was fired. So
Good. Probably good. Anyways, so let's not call this a hit and run. Let's say he teed us up.
yes, that's a good way of putting it.
He teed us up like T. Morant for a job, but not actually, Memphis
What a
Grizzlies
story that was
related.
too. Oh my goodness. I didn't even know he was like teammates with Ray Allen.
I actually didn't read the article. Is he? Or
Yeah, he was teammates with Ray Allen. He was jealous of, Ray Allen living the life, and he thought that he deserved to live the same life as Ray Allen and be able to live the NBA lifestyle. And that's part of the reason why he's out club hopping as a 50-year-old man who's married and going out with his own son to these different venues and living it up.
Amazing.
So
I gotta read this article later.
it's interesting.
I listened to like the ESPN Daily podcast with Tim McMahon, who was like one of the co-authors of the article. But it's not the same, right? Like you don't get the same amount of information when someone's just talking about it and recapping everything.
Yeah, I just read the Reddit recap, to be honest. I listened to the podcast as well. But that was the main gist of it, that, T. Morant is the main person behind what Ja is basically going through. Because before Ja got in the NBA, he never drank, he never smoked, he had no issues at all. But as soon as he got the money, his father decided to live the life that he's always wanted to live because his buddy Ray Allen made it and he didn't.
Fucking Jesus, man. Okay, well, anyways, back to the Pelicans, because I think that's kind of...
We keep getting sidetracked here. He teed it up for us and we keep going in opposite directions.
Yeah, I know. We're not doing Raj justice here. I kind of want to talk about the Grizzlies more than the Pelicans, to be honest, but I know you like the Pelicans, so... I don't know, which would you rather talk about, Josh? I'll let you choose this. Do you want to talk about
I think
the Marcus Smart Grizzlies?
Yeah, I think we've already talked about the Pelicans before. I mean, just the fact that they've already had like 5 injuries and the season hasn't even started yet, and Zion's not one of them, is not a good sign.
Yeah.
So we could talk about the Grizzlies.
The Pelicans basically dumb down to, if Zion is healthy, they're probably going to be pretty good. If Zion's not healthy this year, they're probably going to be pretty rough again. And the odds are that he'll be injured again, because he's Zion Williamson. He's always injured, and it sucks, because he's incredible at basketball, and we want to watch him play. Pretty good summary, right?
I think so. Raj would be proud.
All right, let's get to the Memphis Grizzlies then, because this team, I mean, without Ja for 25 games, so we're looking at mid-December. I think just before Christmas he's back. So you're going to have Marcus Smart and Derrick Rose, both newcomers to the team, basically handling the point guard positions, and have both announced that they're not going to babysit Ja during the season, which is, kind of nice. Good leadership skills, I guess. But aside from all that, they're kind of weaker than they were last year, right? I would think, at least without Brandon Clark. A lot a lot of the roster is still similar. Obviously, they lost Dylan Brooks, so we'll see how Desmond Bane and Luke Kennard fill in that perimeter position, but it seems a little bit sloppier than last year, a little bit weaker.
Yeah, but they always have guys step up, though, right? Like Santi Aldama was one of those guys last year that filled in when, and Xavier Tillman too. Like he was a really good player in the playoffs for them. So even though Brandon Clark is injured for part of the year, I think he's back in the new year, probably in February or March. So if he gets back healthy and Jaws back at that time, I could see them leveling up. If they, tread water for a little bit and are top 8 seed, then I think that they'll be okay. But to start the season, yeah, like they have a major issue, especially a backup point guard. And I've heard that Marcus Smart's injury is, more severe than what they're leading on as well.
Oh.
So, I mean, if he's injured, then you have Derrick Rose as your starting point guard, I guess. And they don't really have anybody. I'm looking at their roster right now. Like, they don't really have another point guard. So I think he's going to have to play regardless.
For
I
sure.
guess they might have to experiment with Desmond Bane, maybe at point guard a little bit. Maybe Kennard can play a little bit. So
they had Desmond Bane running the point last year too when Ja was out. Obviously, Tyus Jones was the main point guard last year, like backup point guard. But Desmond Bane has been working on his handle, right? Kind of like how the Timberwolves tried to put Zach LaVine into that ball handling position back like a few years ago.
No, for sure, and I think he can make up a lot of not a lot of, but enough of what Ja maybe is leaving behind with not being in the lineup. I think Bane can be like a 25 point per game guy while he's out. But yeah, I mean, around those guys, they're going to have to find contributions from guys you've probably never heard of before. And, I think another guy that they're going to have to rely on is Zaire Williams. I mean, he didn't have a good year last year. And he's a guy that has a lot of potential as a 6'9" forward that can shoot threes. And he had a really good playoffs 2 years ago. And then last year was a complete write-off for him. So I think he's going to be key in how they hopefully tread water in the first 25 games.
Yo, they have a rookie named Adonis Arms. How incredible of a name is that? That guy needs... Is there a better teammate for him than Desmond Bane? My God. I haven't even looked at this guy's picture. I should probably look at it. But Adonis Arms, man, what a strong name.
Well said. Well said. I wonder who benches more between him and Desmond Bane.
I mean, he does look pretty cut. I'm not gonna lie. Yo, good for Adonis, man. Get your position.
Perfect name.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, they're going to have to get contributions from everybody. I think maybe even Kenneth Lofton. Kenny Lofton can maybe get in there, all 300 pounds of him.
My God, man. 300. Woo! That's a big boy right there. Between him and Big Body Roddy, that's a lot of weight to throw around on that team.
Yeah, they are quite the girthy team, that is for sure.
They really are,
But
Jesus.
all the stat nerds seem to think that they're going to be first in the West this year, which I don't really understand based on their current health situation and Ja being out, and Steven Adams coming back from injury. There's no guarantee he's going to play 65 games this year.
Hell no.
So a lot of stuff has to go right for them, and Marcus Smart has to prove that he can actually still run the point.
I wonder if they saw Jaren Jackson Jr., at all during the summer, during the FIBA World Cup, because if Steven Adams is not playing, if he's not rebounding for them, whew, the team's in a lot of trouble, boy.
No, absolutely. And they have to find secondary scoring as well, like behind those two guys. So I think Luke Kennard is going to be a big piece for them in the first 25 games.
Mm-hmm.
And Marcus Smart's going to have to play 35 plus minutes a game because Derrick Rose he might be washed at this point.
Rough. Oh, that's sad. Can we move on to Stats Corner and not be so, not be so grim here?
Yeah, I'll try to find something that'll bring up the mood a little bit.
Just don't talk about retired players, and I think we're okay.
Yeah, most definitely. I'll bring up two different things in Stats Corner this week. So along the lines of, Desmond Bane having to take a much bigger role and having to shoot the ball a lot. Can you name the most shot attempts per game by a player since 1997? So this is accounting for field goal attempts per game. So the average field goal attempts per game since 1997. So you can name the top 10 guys because one guy has 4 spots in the top 5
4
in terms of field goal attempts.
Is it
in a
Kobe?
season. Kobe is actually number 2.
Oh.
This other guy has 1, 3, 5, 4, and 5 spots just locked down.
Dwayne Wade?
No.
It's not LeBron.
This one should be easy for you. Come
It's
on.
not LeBron, is it?
No.
Who else is it? Kevin Durant?
No. The highest field
Am
goal
I
attempts
thinking
per
too
game.
hard here?
Yes.
Is it Allen
Again,
Iverson?
since 1997.
Allen Iverson?
Correct. His highest total was 27.8 field goal attempts per game, which is insane. Like, his arms must be mush right now. So the other 5 guys in the 6 through 10 range are all guards.
Are you okay there? It sounds like you're struggling talking about these guards.
I am coughing like crazy right now, but I'm going to get through it.
Well,
I'm a soldier. I'm going to get these shot attempts up,
no,
just like these guys.
Gilbert Arenas.
No. So in terms of active players, actually Iverson is actually number 8 as well. So there's actually 4 guys left here.
Yeah.
2 guys are active.
Hmm.
One guy used to play with MJ, and he was also on the Detroit Pistons.
With
If that
MJ
helps.
and on the Pistons?
He got traded for Rip Hamilton.
Stackhouse?
There you go. Jerry
my
Stackhouse,
God.
24 shots a game.
The
And the
beast.
2 active guys are obviously major chuckers in the last couple of years. They both still play in the NBA right now.
Lillard?
Nope.
Bradley Beal?
No, both guys won MVP.
Embiid? Steph?
Guards. Nope, not Steph.
That won an MVP? Who the hell's won MVP and a guard? And an active player?
This is recent, too.
Derrick Rose?
No. I mean, good guess, I guess, but no.
What do you mean? What other guards have won MVP? The past few years we've had Embiid, Giannis twice, and Jokic twice, right? James Harden and
Okay,
Russell
so-
Westbrook. God damn it.
There you go. Thank you. It's going to be like, yeah, you're exposing yourself
Oh
right now. You have to edit this podcast to
God.
keep that part out of it. My goodness.
Holy. That was pitiful. James Harden, how did I forget you?
And the last guy used to play for the Raptors. That may not help you, but we'll see.
Vince?
Nope.
Mike James? Mike James is a chucker. back in the day.
No. 20. This guy shot 24 times a game.
Well, that's a lot, man. It's not Kawhi.
And he led the league in scoring, if that helps.
The year that he shot,
I would assume so. He averaged 32 points a game in an era where scoring was tough.
not Vince, not McGrady. Was
There you
McGrady?
go. T-Mac. Yep. 24 shots a game, 32 points per game.
What year
And
was
that was
that?
in the 03 season.
03. Oof. Okay. So that was like almost prime T-Mac, or like T-Mac at the top of his powers. That was T-Mac
Oh,
at
yeah.
the top of his powers.
I think that was the year they played Detroit in the first round, and then after Orlando was up 3-1, he said, "Oh, it feels so great to finally get to the second round."
Never
And
again.
then they lost the series.
Never again, sir. Not until what year was that? 2014, where they blew it against the Heat. 2013, the Spurs.
Yeah, something like that.
13. That was the last time T-Mac, or first time T-Mac got past the first round. And the bench
Yeah.
player. Oof.
And he didn't even play. How sad.
Talk your shit, T-Mac. Doesn't help. Not in the league. Alright, that was
Not
good.
anymore.
You got one more?
I mean, if you want it, let's see if I can survive the next
No,
few minutes.
man,
Well,
Save your throat, man. You gotta work tomorrow. You gotta deal with your kid. You rest up. Okay?
appreciate that.
We got a lot more Stats Corner coming this year. We got a lot more if, maybe Raj will join us again for maybe a full podcast. Who knows? Who knows what this year holds?
Yeah, maybe in 3 months he'll join us again.
3 months. I'm gonna have to find a new co-host, man. I'm gonna cut this
Might
guy,
have
send
to.
him to the bench. Raj's gonna come out like Jordan Clarkson out here. Oh my God.
I feel like we're the Brooklyn Nets. We're slowly just drifting apart. I think Raj has already, asked for a trade. So eventually, I think none of us are going to be in the podcast, sadly,
Oh my God. That's sad, man. I wonder if I get to play with an MVP, though.
I mean, I guess Raj is our Harden right now. He's the one demanding out, so he already demanded out for what 20 minutes of the podcast. So
Jean Harden, I knew it all along. This
mhm.
guy, we should have known his work ethic when we first met him. Party animal, fat suit and everything.
Ouch. Yeah, no doubt.
All right, I'm gonna call it here. I want to thank everyone for listening. Please remember to rate and subscribe. You can find us on iTunes, on Spotify. Hit us with those 5-star reviews. Give us those good comments. We're on all the socials. I'm talking TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, X. No longer Twitter, Josh. Just X.com. Weird.
Duly noted.
And until next time, peace.